Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and man, what the hell did I just watch? So I just finished Species from 1995, like 2 minutes ago, and I don't even know what's going on. So I mentioned this a couple of times. I used to be young and broke, and going to a movie was a huge, agonizing ordeal to decide what movies I could see and what I couldn't. So Species was one of those movies that I considered like a million times, and I just didn't go because I was like, like it really had to look like a really good movie for me to go because I couldn't afford a lot of movies. So I just watched this. I mean, spread out over like last night and right now, and this movie is so bad, but I liked it. Like I almost liked every single part of it except for like the last 10 minutes. How is this movie so good and so bad at the same time? Video title. So Species is about, what is it about? Like it's like the stupidest plot ever, made incompetently, but somehow it's still entertaining and enduring. Endearing. I was enduring it. No, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying what? How? So there's a government program where they got a radio transmission, and it was how to create a different. I already forgot. A lot of this movie falls out. Something they created a hybrid of alien DNA and human DNA. So they created three of them. Like they were savvy. They already set up two of the sequels. They're like, this happened to this one happened, but now we got another one. It's like, well, sounds like you got two sequels set up already. So, the little girl, if you ever seen like a Star Trek, this stuff happens a million times. She was a baby 2 days ago, and now she's 47 years old. But so she's like 6, and they decide just to gas her. This you can't describe this movie. You can either like describe. I always tell the story about my buddy who's into alien conspiracies, and you can tell he's really into them. But whenever I ask him to say them out loud, he starts laughing. He goes, "Oh, it sounds so stupid when you say it out loud." This whole movie is based on that logic. That it sounds so. It's not like I didn't know this was stupid. So whatever. They got this little girl. Her name is Syl, and they try to gas her because I don't know why. Because she was growing too fast. They couldn't control her. She was just a little girl in like a cage. It seemed like a pretty sturdy cage. So then they gas her, but she survives the whatever gas and she escapes, and then she's on the run to get away from him. And like, oh my gosh. So I used to watch the A-Team when I was a kid. I didn't like it that much, but it was the 80s. You basically had to watch the A-Team. And so they're always meeting up with like soldiers, but their soldiers were like, first of all, they weren't even wearing soldier uniforms. They were literally green jeans and like a random green shirt. Like it wasn't even an army shirt. And they would just be like the biggest clowns ever. And like Ben Kingsley, so it has a great cast. Natasha Henstridge, she doesn't talk a lot. But she's pretty good in this movie. Ben Kingsley, to the other guy and the other guy and the other girl, Michael Madsen, Mark Helgenberger, Forrest Whitaker. Oh, am I going to be able to do all of them from memory? Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2. It's a freaking great cast. And like, so she escapes because she runs fast and jumps on a train. And they're like, a train, that could be headed anywhere. And like, no, there's tracks, dude. And you know the direction. Like, you can literally cover every single spot. So a bum tries to rape her, eat her, be her. I don't know. She kills him, and then she goes to Los Angeles, and or no, she gets on. She grows up on the train. Here's what was good about this movie. Like this movie is absolute shit, but most except for like the last 10 minutes, minute to minute, scene to scene, is just fine. Like usually, when they do a movie like this, you just get little glimpses of the monster, and it's mainly on the little strike force um, going to find her. But the strike force that they assemble literally seems like a bunch of people who would be like loss prevention at like a Sears or a J.C. Penney's in the 1990s, like they're trash. They're less equipped than security guards. So like half the movie is just Syl on a train learning about humans, learning about money, and she's like stealing stuff, and then people are helping her out, or sometimes she's killing them, and then she goes to Los Angeles, and I actually just kind of like the movie about just this weird alien kind of figuring out how to be a human, and then if you mess with her, she kills you, or she never eats anyone. She just eats regular food. Uh, but then this Strike Force, like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. First of all, they've got some sort of government facility that has helicopters and a bunch of armed guards or soldiers and all these vehicles, and you can just run and jump on a train and get away from 'em. So then they assemble this team of like various types of scientists and a army guy. The army guy is literally just armed with a Glock. The scientists are armed with, yeah, literally nothing. They're freaking useless. They just make guesses that are either right or wrong, but it doesn't really do anything. Like I'm picking this movie apart, but I'm saying from minute to minute, this movie is just fine. If I remember correctly, it was a moderate hit. This is back in the day when it was like, they had there was a little bit of CGI in the 1980s, like young Sherlock Holmes. Does anyone remember that? Flight of the Navigator. But like Jurassic Park and T2 is where CGI really became like, oh, we have this technology. So, but then there was like all these trash movies that were like, we have CGI, but it's freaking terrible. There's a little bit of CGI of the Syl monster, but there's also like a puppet of it, which is much better. So like the first 2/3, this Strike Force, which is like literally they're like loss prevention at a freaking department store. Then they're tracking her, but it's very lackadaisical because honestly, she's not that big of a threat. The threat is merely if you extrapolate that she can lay like 20 million eggs. Basically, she's just trying to live her best life and have a kid. And there's no evidence that the kid is going to be anything more dangerous than, let's say, a mountain lion or maybe 2 mountain lions. Like, chill out. Leave her alone. If you would just leave her alone, she might have just gone and gotten a job and just been a regular Los Angeles, citizen. So anyway, they start following her, and the plot is just stupid, but every scene is fine in and of itself. I gotta say, this movie has the 2 cheapest jump scares in the history of film. Jump scares are like, whatever. You got a haunted house movie, you got a slasher movie, and somebody will go, and then a cat will just jump out of nowhere. Like, first of all, have you ever noticed that cats don't do that? Like, ever? Cats are very shy. They don't jump out at you. It's like a wombat or something like that. So, let me tell you the 2 cheapest jump scares in the history of film. Number 1, Mark Helgenberger. Syl tries to hook up twice. The first guy's a douchebag. The second guy's okay. But she kills him anyway because I forget why. Oh, because they didn't finish. She actually gets pregnant by Dr. Octopus. Actually kind of makes sense. So Michael Madsen is going into this area with literally just a gun, just a Glock. And Mark Helgenberg has a diploma in her. She has education? I don't know. So then this is the jump scare. At night, a squirrel, a normal squirrel, jumps onto Mark Helgenberger's shoulder and starts like gnawing at her, and then she flinches and it falls on the ground and runs away. I'm not kidding. That right there is the cheapest jump scare in the history of movies. The second cheapest is at one time they go back to a nightclub because it's a kind of fairly low budget movie, so they got to repeat stuff. So they go back to a nightclub, and then Forrest Whitaker's like, I need to go get some fresh air. So he goes to an alley right by some dumpsters. What? And then he starts walking between 2 dumpsters, and literally 2 bums who, let's be honest, were probably blowing each other. Like they jump out and they're like, find your own dumpster. It's like, yeah, okay. That's the jump scare. So go see this movie, which is terrible if you describe it, but okay if you watch it. Okay, there's a video title right there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll have, what am I going to watch next? I don't know. I'm definitely not going to see Species 2 and 3. Thanks for watching. Bye.